Hello everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, What the Perfect Assistant Can Do for You with your MAPS VP, Monica Reynolds. Please note this meeting is being recorded and will be available within 24 hours on the MAPS Group YouTube channel. You may access the YouTube channel from your Zoom confirmation email, and we will also share it in the link momentarily. Currently, everyone is on mute. We do value group participation, so we ask that if you have any questions for your coach, please type them into the chat box located in the taskbar at the bottom of your screen. Your questions will be addressed by your coach throughout your webinar. Following the meeting, if you have any questions about today's call or coaching programs, please email us at fasttrack@kw.com. That's all for me, Monica. Take it away.
Welcome, everybody. Good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. I'm Monica Reynolds, and I'm the VP of MAPS Coaching, but don't tell anyone. I have a one thing, and that's assistants and agents. They change my life, they'll change your life, and they'll change the life of your clients. And so you can build the life by design. So a lot of us are great salespeople on the call. Well, great. Then why are we doing the other things that we're not so great at? Well, we're going to talk about that. And for the assistants on this call, thank you so much. You guys are the secret weapon. And I'm going to share some things with you where maybe you can go, hey, I need to do that. Hey, that would help our business. That's a great idea. So thank you for being on the call. We're going to go fast, action-packed. You can put some questions in the chat box. I can't promise I'll get to all of them, but I'll do my very best. So the next slide, Miss Stephanie, and Stephanie's my assistant, executive assistant. We've been together almost 13 years now. So I know how to hire a great partner. And so thank you, Stephanie, for all you do. All right. Hey, in case you're the agent on the call or you're the assistant on the call, let's have the job description of a great agent. Lead generation, listing appointments, lead follow-up, writing contracts, role-playing, and scripts. If those are in the schedule of an agent, put those on the dollar signs. Whoops, that means you have to know their schedule, right? Put those in as dollar signs. Now, getting your car washed, calling someone about the golf game on Saturday, checking on, you ordered a new couch. That's not going to go in there. That's just stuff. And these are the things that an agent needs to be focused on. Imagine if you focused on that 80% of the time as an agent. What would your life be like? Does it say there you're great at paperwork? You cross the T's, dot the I's. You love putting things on DocuSign. You love making sure everything's correct. Well, sign me up. I'm not any of those things. I was a great agent. I'm not good at that stuff. And that's why I built a team. And team stands together. Each achieves more. So moving on to the next slide. Okay, so what can a great real estate assistant do? Phone. Okay, so that would mean that you would have to have a phone line, digital, whatever, into your office. Your cell phone is not your office line. As an agent, this is a switch. Hey, ever call Keller Williams and go, hey, thanks for calling Keller Williams. This is Gary Keller. He didn't answer the phone. You have to think like a CEO. You are a CEO. And so as an agent, you must have an office presence of a line, whether that office goes to your assistant's virtual home or wherever it goes during the day. There's Ring Central, all kinds of services. And I teach this in the class that you have to have someone absolutely answer the phone. You don't answer all the phone calls. You're not taking phone calls from sellers. And oh, by the way, that means you don't put your cell phone on your business card. Ooh, what could that mean for your life in strategies and boundaries? Emails. Can you train anyone to read your emails? Absolutely. Anything that's like, I want to list my house. I need help on, my friend has someone who wants to buy a house. I mean, those are money calls. An assistant can absolutely tell which is which. And so why not have someone go through those emails and send off the garbage emails to garbage, trash, whatever. All listing systems, all closing systems, database, whatever you're using. The way I look at it, command is great. If you don't want to use command, you're using something else, that's fine. But a database is your only asset. Are you growing your database every single month? Are you looking Or is your assistant looking at it daily to add 3 people each day? Name, address, phone number, and emails. How clean is your database? Who's in charge of the database? It's your only asset. It's not a Louis Vuitton purse. It's not a car you got. No, it's only your database. And who's in charge of that? Is it growing? How much did it grow last year? How many are completes? How many people opted out and why? Let's figure out some of these things, right? Command and opportunities. Every single lead, warm, cold, hot, pulse, whatever, should go into opportunities, into command. What a great place to keep it. What a great thing for an assistant to learn how to put, not learn, it's easy. You just put it in there. It's just type it in. It's like a database type of thing. But yet that's where all your leads go. And what a great team member can help you stay on track with your leads. Top agents lose as much business as they do. What? Top agents lose as much business as they do because a lot of them are type D. They've got paper and little sticky notepads and little scraps of paper here and there. And those are all leads. Don't touch them. Don't touch them. But you need to help organize them. So when you have a great real estate assistant, they can double your business. They can double your free time. They can double the opportunities for you because they're keeping track. And they double how you respond to clients because they can respond to clients during the day very quickly. If you're at a listing appointment, you're an agent, you are not going to answer a phone call on a sign call. Your trained assistant can. And I know they're not licensed. Well, okay, they can still answer the phone call. They can still ask a few kind of questions like, how'd you happen to call? You're calling from a sign. Great. How soon do you need to purchase a home? The only thing an unlicensed assistant can't talk about, and I got the rules, they can't talk about price, terms, or conditions of a contract, or how to write a contract, or how to negotiate. Can't negotiate anything. Can't talk about the price of a property. Can't do that, but you can ask questions. How soon do you need to purchase a property? They tee up the ball for a great agent like you so you can come in and whack the ball and get them into a contract. All right. What about marketing and social media? Whoa, why not have a great assistant help you with that? Customer experience. How do you build a customer for life? There's no such thing as too many phone calls to a client. And in my training, this is shocking. I propose, and I set it out there, that the client who's under a contract should be called every single day. Now, in this world, we have contracts that move pretty fast. So calling every single day is not really a problem, and you won't get them all the time. So you just leave an upbeat message. Sorry, I missed you. Just want to let you know we're on top of things. Call if you have any questions. Now, when you do need to talk to them, then you're going to call, email, call, because it's not their job to call you back. They'll call you if they have a question. If you are proactive and you make those calls to them, it stops the phone from ringing in the interruptions. Okay, so I go through that and I give scripts on that and all of that. And calling a listing, oh my gosh, you take a listing and the Fred and Mabel, they go, oh, I hope we did the right thing as the agent walks out. I think we did the right thing. Sure, I don't know. What maybe? Okay, so then it starts. And a great assistant is a secret weapon, calling them immediately saying, thank you for listing. We're excited to work with you. Here's what's going to happen next. Now, if it's taken at 8 o'clock at night, it's not going to happen, but it's going to happen first thing in the morning. All right. Culture. You, as assistants on this call, are the culture. You're the keeper of the culture. You set the culture. And so I talk about that in training and how you want to build a culture with the Y4C2Ts, and that is win-win or no deal. Integrity. The things in the Y4C2Ts is how we operate as Keller Williams. Repeat and referral business. Wow. Talk about a rate of return on investment, ROI, return on investment. Whoa, that is so great. And we want that. And one of the things that you do as assistants or agents is you're always saying to someone, how are we doing? We want to deliver on a scale of 1 to 10, a 10 plus experience. How are we doing? And oh, by the way, our business is based on referrals from great people like you. Who do you know right now who could use our help in buying or selling? We so appreciate the referrals. What if you have an assistant agent on this call that says that to the client every time? Oh, thank you so much for being on, for taking my call today. Can I ask you a favor? We love referrals. Who do you know right now? I'm going to ask you from time to time if you don't mind. We want another great client like you. So I got a lot of scripts like that, and you bring energy to the call. And the key thing for everyone to hear is that real estate is a phenomenal career. It's exciting. Every day's different. It's real estate and it's people. I hear the craziest things sometimes. And yet it's like, okay, well, let's figure that one out. That's interesting. That's going to be fun. Lead generation. Every top agent needs at least five, not 25, 5 top lead sources of where they get business with a very clear marketing, very clear lead generation plan in there. Past clients should be number 1. Center of influence should be number 2. Referrals should be number 3. And referrals, when you get down to it, if you want to write this down, there are 5 categories of referrals. Agent referral is different than past client. Past client is different than center of influence. Center of influence is different than team, and team is different than vendor. And so, of course, I've got all of this in my, I can talk to you like this. I don't have any notes going. I am passionate about what a team of even one agent and one assistant can do. You change lives. You help people with the American dream. And it's just about the systems. And yet, the last one there, you got to analyze the numbers. You got to know about the numbers. How many contacts to an appointment? How many appointments does it take to get a listing? How many listings, and buyer sales and keeping track of those, and how many buyer showings to a buyer written contract. It's just numbers. And one of the most important numbers too is database. How's the database growing? And the most important number, if I teach you anything about a number, hopefully today, is write this down: appointments. Well, you go, well, no, it's writing a contract. Nope, it's appointments. Because if the activities are not there in lead generation, you don't have the appointments, you're not going to have transactions. Next slide, Miss Stephanie. Thank you so much. 2 reasons people get divorced: communication and usually money. Okay. So there's several reasons why an assistant and a agent break up. They get divorced, and that's because of communication. So one of the things I'm extremely strong about is really learning and teaching and sharing with you how to communicate. When you have a driver, if you're familiar with the DISC test, a driver, and you are a high I, you don't ask a driver, how are you today? They don't want to tell you about their day. They just want you to get to the point. So I teach you the language of DISC. I also teach you the language of a KPA. That's the most phenomenal thing that Keller Williams offers, is to really understand how you learn, how you work in this environment, what to expect. So if you haven't taken a KPA on this, go ask your market center, take one. There's nothing more fascinating than you to you. So go do that. It's really fun. So I always say you have a daily meeting, 10, 15 minutes stand up. If you're virtual, then it's in front of a screen, and it's very clear. Today's what I'm going to do. Yesterday I did this. Here are my questions. So it's fast and quick. Most of all my assistants, including Stephanie on this call, kept it on a clipboard. And during the day, they were checking off things that we were doing. The sheet underneath was what they were moving things to that didn't get done, so that they had them again the next day. Now that's how they rolled. And so I know we're in the digital world. That's great. But I'm into plant a tree, kill one. So if you do it digitally, good for you. If you like paper, good for you. So it's all in just putting the system together. Okay, the next slide, Stephanie, is the listing system. Now on the listing system, so we're really clear about the listing system. There's a pre-list package. You can get it on command. I share one with you that I've built by me building it, and then I've borrowed from other top agents in the country. So I have a killer listing pre-list package. I believe in the pre-list package. I've been in real estate for 40 years. I've been doing this probably the longest a lot of you have been alive, and yet I've always had a pre-list package. It probably was the start of it, and I've done this since the 80s, and every year it's a little bit different, and you're constantly tweaking it for market of the moment. Bulletproof checklist, pass the baton. Under no circumstance should you lay down a file, give a file to someone, and say to an assistant as an agent on this call and say, okay, call them. So quick story, not to get into too many details. I said that I was working in Long Beach at the time, doing about 300 transactions a year in the 90s. And I threw a file down and said, okay, I'm off to my next appointment. Call. They really need to get on the market quickly. So she called. She did a great job, but she could see there was a little bit of disconnect and it wasn't not going so well. And she said, you know, Mrs. Jones, may I ask you a question? I'd love to speak to your husband and tell him these things also. How may I reach him? Pause. Call his pregnant girlfriend. She knows where he's at all times. Okay, that didn't go over so well. I forgot to mention that it was a divorce. Did you guys hear what I just said? I didn't mention it was a divorce. Oh my gosh. Thanks, Kelly. I can see your head nodding. You go, oh my gosh, right? This is crazy. All right. So pass the baton, you got to take the time. And I have a pass the baton form. It takes 1 minute and 46 seconds. And all you're going to say to your assistant, here's the motivation, happy or sad. They have kids. They have a dog named Tank. Tank's their only kid, but it's not a dog. It's a kid. It has a bedroom and it has a dog TV that it watches every day and it has a couch. Huh. And then there's other things. They need a lockbox. They're not going to have a lockbox. They're going to have a sign, no sign. Oh, by the way, there's an HOA. And oh, by the way, get them set up for success. They're happy they're moving. They're sad. There was a death in the family. There was a job change and they're all upset about it. They lost their job. Whatever it happens to be, set your assistant up for massive success because the tonality is totally different when you call them and say, thank you so much for working with our team. We're excited to help you move to Chicago. Or you say, thank you so much. We want to help you. And we want to, let me change the script. Thank you so much for working with our team. Do you have a few minutes? I want to go through the processes with you to make this easy for you. So we need to make it easy for them on that script. Okay, so hear what I'm saying. The assistant is the bridge for trust to the client. The assistant is the bridge that takes care of all of these things and keeps the relationship moving forward. Okay, all right, let's go to the next one. Showing form conversations, price improvements only if you're licensed. Let's go to the next one, Stephanie. And that should be the just listed letter. Okay, so here's a tip. Okay, so obviously, you know, I have a training class with MAPS and it starts in March. And this is just one of the tips. So I think when you send out a just listed card or a just sold card, it loses its power. Let me ask you a question. If you went to your mailbox today and you got an envelope and the return address was your neighbor down the street, would you go, why is my neighbor calling me? Or why is my neighbor mailing me a letter? And as a listing agent, I would say to the listing, thank you for signing the listing. I have a unique marketing proposition. I'd like your permission. I'd like to send a letter to your neighbors in a white envelope, white stationery with your name. And we're going to have your return label on the envelope. And we're going to say to the neighbors that, hi, I'm your neighbor that lives at the house on the corner of the greenhouse. I've got a German Shepherd. I walk at night. We've lived here for 10 years. My kids go to middle school and we are moving, a job change. You know, we're so sorry to need the neighborhood. We have enlisted a great agent and we need your help. Should you know of anyone who would like to live in our neighborhood, please forward our information to them. Feel free to give it to your friends and family. Is that more powerful than sending out a just listed card? Wave if you agree with me. Thank you, team. I appreciate that. All right. Now, what if that got sent or it was a knock on the door inviting them to an open house and say, by the way, this is from your neighbor. They wanted me to give this to you and also invite you to the open house. This is how you maximize. So just those little tidbits that I've learned over the years, and I don't share anything that I haven't done personally that's been successful. Next slide. What if on building a client relationships is the next slide, Stephanie. And we talk about, you know, the passing the baton and learning the personality style. So if you're dealing with a seller that's an attorney, high C, they will not make a decision until they see all the facts, figures, and information. And then they're going to talk to the jury, which may be their wife, their spouse, somebody else. They're going to have a jury to make a decision, right? So I want you to hear that when you're talking to an analytical, a high C, you've got to be able to have facts, figures, and information, okay? And go slow. A driver, do you have 1 minute? I know you're super busy. Here's the question I have for you. You just go that fast. You don't ask them how their day is. It can be usually irritating. They don't want to tell you how their day's going. They just want to keep going, right? And so you want to make sure that your assistant has role played and is scripted to give the best Disneyland amazing experience when they're calling a client who just gave you 6% of the value of their home right off the top, 6%. How did that happen? Because they signed a listing agreement. Now, I know, you're not going to get all 6% sometimes. However, they agreed to pay 6% of the value of their home. So they deserve over-the-top Disneyland customer service, constant communication, constant hand-holding, so that they say, Mabel and Fred, we did the right thing. These people are great. They're awesome. They're on top of it. They know us. They see our file. Okay. Hello, this is Stephanie with Monica Reynolds' office. Monica asked that I call you as part of our customer service to introduce myself. Always mention the agent's names. Agents, always have your assistant mention the name. Is this a good time to speak with you? Always ask for permission. This call will take about 5 minutes. You might want to expand that a little bit. That's not really. This call may take 20 minutes. I am the listing coordinator. I'll be handling all the document paperwork. Did you receive my business card? Yes, you should have a business card. Make the investment in a business card, please, agents, for your assistant. And you put that in your pre-list package. Okay, you will get, oh, by the way, I saw that. You will get this recording. It's outstanding, isn't it, right? So you'll get this recording. You signed up for the call, you get the recording. I work Monday through Friday, and I'm available for your questions. And then there's a little checklist of what they're going to go over. I give the most amazing checklist, 75 to 85 checklists. I give you all the scripts, and yet I always say, you must go and tweak them. You must go and tweak them. They're blueprints. How you speak is not how I speak. How you speak in Louisiana is different how they speak, and what's appropriate in your area for Washington, Seattle, wherever, Kansas. So they're all interchangeable. Okay, let's go to the next slide, Stephanie. And so the next slide, I believe, is closing systems. Now, on closing systems, yes, you want to have a bulletproof transaction. Now, agents listening to this, you build a great relationship. You have this amazing relationship on the listing. You sell it for over ask price, $50,000. I just heard one last night sold for $150,000 over ask price. It was a $500,000 house, but there was a cash buyer. He had to have that house. He had to live in that neighborhood. All kinds of crazy stuff going on there. So so you do that, right? You think, we're winning with this client. Not so fast. The icing on the cake is the transaction closing. And this is where we have to bulletproof, over communicate. This is where the relationship, hear this loud and clear, moves forward or not. This is where the relationship moves forward or not. So when you hear this from me, know that you can do everything. You can take the pictures 19 times. You can go get a sunset picture. You can go get the morning dew picture on the roses, whatever. It doesn't matter. When it comes to the closing, this is the last taste in their mouth. This is the last thing for moving forward in the relationship or not. So pass the baton. I've got a whole system for that. Setting expectation script. Here's what's going to happen when the appraiser comes out. And here's what may happen. The appraiser may appraise it lower than the purchase price. And here are the 4 scenarios that can happen. One is you can cancel the offer as a seller if you do not want to move forward. Same thing to a buyer. We can negotiate in the middle. You can agree to pay the price. And then I can't remember the other one, but there's 4 of them and I go through them. So with that said, know that we share those expectations with your assistant if you're the agent on the call. And I share those with you right now, saying real estate is about being prepared to answer questions and setting people up with expectations that could happen. When you get the repair list back, Mr. Seller, you're going to be shocked of the list that they may create. And yet all we're looking for is to really have to be concerned about anything structural, anything health hazards like mold, anything not up to code. Those are the key things that we look for. And then we try to have a win-win, back to the Y4C2Ts for everyone. And you always want to say to a listing, we are on your side. We are on your side. Okay, next one, Stephanie, I believe should be setting expectations. So again, I was doing a little bit about that, setting expectations for closing. So thank you for being on the call. Because you're on the call, you're going to get the call and you're going to see all of these again. So if you want to take screenshots right now, take screenshots. That's fine. You will get all of this when we send it to you. So you're setting up, how you set up a seller for repairs and how you set up a buyer for repairs is totally different, totally different. And yet it's the same, giving them the opportunity to process, here's what may happen. Next slide. I know I talk fast. Thanks for listening fast. Reviews and referrals, a great assistant. Anytime you hear something, when somebody says something nice, or an agent, when somebody says something nice, a client, current client, past client, you say, oh, thank you so much for saying that. May I ask you a favor? Our business is based on reviews from great people like you. May I send a link to you? And would you just take a couple of minutes, give us a 5-star review and mention the team's name? May I do that? May I send you that link? It helps our business so much. Okay. And then the other part of that is say, by the way, thanks so much for, being a great client. Our business is based on 100% on referrals. I always say 100% because that was always my affirmation and dream. And we so love, anyone is thinking about buying or selling. Well, I can't think of anyone. Know of anyone in the next year or two? Well, yeah, my best friend's going to move in 2 years to Arizona. Oh, wow, that's great. May I have his name? We'd love to just touch base with him, see if there's anything we can answer about Arizona or here now. I mean, think through these things. Be a true partner and have an assistant that's a true partner. Can you imagine what happens when you're in partnership and dialogue to constantly improve your customer service, grow your business, and help people with the American dream? All right, next slide. Next slide is going to be profitable database systems. We call that the data bank, okay? So monthly tracking of growth, as I said, which is completes, name, address, phone number, and emails. Incompletes, don't count on that. A monthly marketing plan. What's your marketing plan for February for your database? Is it videos? Is it emails? What do you got going on? Do you have a home seller seminar going on, home buyer, smart plan? Okay, what's that all about? It's in command, all right? Opportunities, pipeline, Facebook ads. In my training, I don't go deep into command, but I tell you where to go to find things because I know that I always say CRMs are like pantyhose. One size does not fit all, but you need to figure out which one works and stick with it. Stick with that brand, all right? Okay, all right. Tracking the growth of your database. Let's go to the next slide, Stephanie. So you're going to increase your database by a minimum of 3 per day. 3, just 3. That's a Gary Keller rule, and I think it's a pretty good rule, right? And the structure and organize your database for referrals, agent, team, vendor, sphere of influence, and clients for life, so you can easily pull that. Your database is the only asset when you get ready to step back, step to the side, or step out. This is where you go. So I want you to hear that loud and clear and be very, very clear that this is a very interesting time that we are in real estate. We've got Zillow breathing down our neck. They are a real estate company in case I haven't announced it. And there's so many things that they're doing that I think can be very challenging for a lot of us. And I think the key thing is that you have to put your arms around your database. You have to, and it's a have to. Using their outdesk, don't do that because now they have your data. I've never proposed that. I always say when you, number one thing that sellers have complained to NAR is they don't get feedback on showings. I train assistants on, there are 3 things that you do after a showing. You call that agent, and you say, thank you for showing our listing. We so appreciate that. May I take 1 minute of your time and ask 3 questions? Here are the 3 questions. Number 1, is your buyer going to write an offer? Is your buyer going to write an offer? Number 2, what would it take for your buyer to write an offer? What would it take for your buyer to write an offer? Now, there's some things we can fix and some things we can talk about and say, well, let me share with you about that. And then the third thing is, What price do you feel the property will sell for? What price do you feel the property will sell for? And that's all you do. And the assistant calls them and the seller and says, yeah, you know, I hope you know we found the information about the showing. I want to share it with you. And I have to tell you right now that I'm going to give it to you unfiltered, just like it was said to me. And I hope you understand that this is important for you to hear. And the guy, let's say that this agent said, well, you walked in and there was this horrific cat box odor. And my clients just said, I'm not coming in this house. And they turned around and left. And so we have to share those things. And we say, I hope you don't mind. I have to tell you what was heard so we can help you fix this for the next showing. And then you go from there. So next slide, Stephanie. So here's the thing. Okay, lead generation should be 5 sources: quarterly return on investment, market of the moment, going out for different things that you're doing, just listed, just sold, like I shared with you. It has to be in the schedule for an agent. And as the assistant on this call, you're the room monitor. You're the person that keeps the agent on track. And I give you all the tips for that. Budget. You got to have a budget for lead generation. You got to be looking at the ROI, the return on investment. Why are we spending all this money when we haven't even converted a lead? That's where you come in as a great assistant. And that's where an assistant is so powerful for you in a team relationship. Next one, Steph. Almost there. We're getting there. Next one. Okay. So I'm Monica Reynolds. I'm the VP of MAPS. We are a huge coaching company. We have 250 coaches, 255, something like that. We do bold. And one of the things, and we do group calls, of course. And I run this group call, and I have for years. I dug the well. I wrote books on assistants in the 90s. I wrote books on building a team in the 90s. I got thrown out of a Coldwell Banker office because I had assistant in the early 80s. And I was a top producer. I did more business than all the agents together did, but it was a liability. I mean, I've seen the gamut. I've been the biggest defender, the biggest promoter. I love assistants. I love what you contribute. You are the secret weapon. You change the lives of agents. And agents, your life will change when you hire the right assistant. Your life will change when your assistant is trained properly, and your clients' lives and your relationship will build that repeat and referral business. So it starts March 16th, and there is a code there. Web 100 will give you $100 off the first month. It is $195 per month. At the end of 6 months, the first call every month is teaching you to be a great boss. Now, why do I do that? Because I want you to hear what I'm training on so you can enforce it. The second thing is, if you're a great boss, you don't have turnover. Turnover is excruciating, expensive in time and money. You don't want turnover. You want to hire the right person. So I go everything from hiring to lead generation to the systems. You end up with a 450-page policy and procedures manual. As your team grows, everything is in there. I go through a complete system on how to hire your next buyer agent, to an ISA, to the 30, 60, 90s, to the job descriptions, to also all of the 30, 60, 90s on each one of those. So to me, if you want to grow your business, whether you have 1 assistant, 2 assistants, no assistants, you're building a hub, this is where you start to build those foundational pieces. And I covered today what the foundational pieces are. So I hope you join these calls. I appreciate you being on the call. And Stephanie, is there anything that I can answer real quick for anyone?
Yes, ma'am, there is. Kelly would like to know, what is the difference between SOI, sphere of influence, and clients for life?
Okay. There's nothing different with clients. Clients for life is a sphere of influence is someone you haven't sold a home to, but they're a good friend or they're somebody you know. In a client, the past client is a person that you sold a house to. You know, client for life is you want all those categories to go in there, Kelly, all of them to go in there. So a client for life is all of them. And you want every category to be that. Okay. James has a question, or who has anybody else? Stephanie?
I haven't seen any other questions yet, Monica. Oh, it says, can you talk about
pay?
Can you talk about now, or will you cover how you determine
I don't cover pay with the assistants on a call because here's the challenge, but I do talk to the agents about it. The cost of living in San Diego, the average sales price, I think now is $925,000. And that cost of living is totally different than the cost of living, respectfully, in Louisiana. New York is different than Kansas. And so you always want to pay a fair wage to a great assistant. They should always be an employee. I also believe that you never pay a percentage of your business. No, never. And I also believe that you pay them a bonus on each closing. It could be $25, it could be $50, because you want them to want your success. So whether you decide to do that or not, or you put them, I just think after 90 days that they experience some of the successes of each time you close a property. Now, I don't get in depth with that with assistants. It's just my mere suggestion to figure that out and work it out with them. But I always want someone to participate in the successes of the team. So if I brought in 3 contracts over the weekend, my TC and my listing manager going, yay, versus, oh, God, we got to make all these calls right now. Okay. So I want you to think about that, and just that, I always say, if you pay well, they stay. And if you keep them part of the goals and the dreams and give them opportunities for growth, and, you can always change the bonus. I always tell someone when I hire them, this is your salary. That does not change. What changes is we can talk about the bonuses. So don't pay someone a huge bonus on every closing right off the bat, because you have nowhere to go. Okay. They got to earn it. Got to pay the toll booth a little bit. Okay. All right. Monica, hopefully that helped. Yes, Stephanie.
So, is the program, the Perfect Real Estate Assistant, good for brand new assistants and or VA assistants?
Yes, it's great for VAs. I have a lot of VAs on the calls, and it's really great for brand new. And it's also great, what I found is assistants that have been assistant for 5 or 6 years go, this is great. I finally got the big picture. I know how to help my agent. I've got more ideas to help the clients and build this repeat business. And so, education is education, in my opinion. I always go to any class that I attend and I go, I just need one nugget, just one nugget. I always get that. And in my class, you get so much with the 400, every single week is 30 to 50 pages of a printout for you to build a policy and procedures manual. It's checklist, it's letters, it's scripts, it's systems. I cover every system possible. Now, here's the good news. I update my stuff all the time. So if you've been 2-3 years ago and you've got a new assistant, or assistant needs to go back again, come back again, because you listen at different levels. A brand new assistant is going to be, okay, I can do that. Okay. They come back the second time. It's just like bold. Come back the second time, you hear it at a different level. So my whole goal is that I have fun on the calls, and I make sure that each assistant and each agent leave with what they need to build a powerful business that's duplicatable and scalable. Okay? Duplicatable and scalable. If you're doing 10 deals, 20 deals, you want to go to 100, you want to go to 400, you want to go to 1,000, whatever. And here's the other thing. I'm really clear that one agent and one assistant can change the world. And you can have an extraordinary life, and you can also make a whole lot of money, financially successful, like really great. Sometimes you don't need to build these massive teams. So I'm on all the corners, whatever you want to do. You want to build a massive team? Go for it. You want to build just one assistant and one buyer agent? Good. We'll figure that out too. Okay, everyone. I'm Monica Reynolds. I hope you enjoyed today's call. The recording will be sent. I apologize up front. I talk fast. I get excited. I'm passionate about hire the right assistant. Get them into training. Pour into them. Give them an opportunity to grow on your team. If you're the agent, come to the call. It's just agents only, the first call of every month. The second and third call of every month is for the assistant. So come to the call, learn how to be a great boss and build a team. Assistants, come to the call and learn how to improve the business and build duplicatable and scalable businesses. Thank you, everyone. I appreciate the thank yous. I'm always available. We've got another couple of webinars coming up. See you soon, I hope. Join the class. Love to talk to you. Thanks, everybody. Oh, they're live calls, and I do talk to you. Thanks, everybody. Bye-bye.